guys, it's the RetrofloraPodcast. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Trammy, and we're just two crazy sisters with an opinion and a channel.
If you like true crime, conspiracies, and supernatural crap, then this is your channel. Happy holidays!
I know, it's been a very long time.
I know, I'm sorry you guys. Life has been lifing right now.
I know, we only usually skip a week, but...
Right, yeah, so we did a little Disneyland trip, you guys. It was fun, but going to Disneyland during the holidays is chaotic, so...
Yes, it is.
-5 out of 10.
Everybody and their mama be there.
Everybody and their mama be there, and their mama's mama. So today, I have a little spooky for us. You know, I've been on a spooky kick. I will get back on my true crime kick right now, but the spooks are in, okay? So, I've been on a spooky kick. So today, we're going to talk about Poltergeist.
Poltergeese?
No, but be careful of Poltergeese too, because...
Poltergeese!
A flock of Poltergeese is not what you want. I didn't know there was a difference between Poltergeists and regular ghosts, but guess what? There is.
If you play Phasmophobia, you wouldn't know that.
No, thank you.
Let's play Phasmophobia.
Yeah, I don't know about that, y'all. Look, I love a good scary. I don't like to be in a scary, okay? Unless we're talking about Universal Horror Nights or something, and then I can be in a scary. I did a scary escape room, and I was scared.
Well, without further ado, let's get into this.
So the word poltergeist comes from the German word polter, which means noise or racket, and geist, which means spirit. So basically the word means noisy spirit.
That makes sense.
Yeah. A poltergeist is a type of ghost / spirit / supernatural entity that are known for causing physical disturbances, like loud noises and sudden movements or breakages of things. The difference between a ghost and a poltergeist is a ghost is a remnant of a previously living person, and a poltergeist is an intentionally mischievous spirit.
Then where does this spirit come from?
Well, there's some theories about that. I don't know why when I was reading that, I just felt like a lot of words were just coming out of my mouth.
Because you said it's just a ghost is just a spirit,
like the remnant of a living person.
Yeah. So, but a poltergeist isn't from a living person. It could be from something else.
Well, it just as a mischievous spirit. So maybe it could be a living person, but
that died and is just mischievous.
Yeah, they want to cause some hell, you guys. Some people believe poltergeists are kinetic energy because ghosts are believed to not be able to break through the physical realm. Nonetheless, poltergeist, you know what? Everybody take a shot every time I say the word poltergeist, because I think I've said it like 10 times.
I don't drink.
Take a shot of water then. Poltergeists are blamed for the violent actions such as throwing stones, setting clothes on fire, pinching, biting, hitting, and or tripping people. Yeah, so There's actually a poltergeist in the Harry Potter world. They didn't put it in the movies, but there's one called, what's it called? Peeves. Yeah, it's like, you know how it's filled, the whole school is filled with ghosts. Mm-hmm. There's one called Peeves that would be doing pranks on people and stuff like that. Yeah, well, that's. But I don't know why they didn't put him in the movie. I don't know. There was a lot going on. They probably,
you know what? There's a lot going on in that whole series, actually. There's a whole bunch of stuff they didn't add.
They are also known to levitate items, mostly furniture and cutlery. I'm not really sure why I am sure why they be throwing cutlery, but yeah, when you watch anything with poltergeist, they usually move in your furniture and throw knives at you. And of course, knocking on things, usually doors. They are also known for foul smells, spontaneous fires, and electrical issues like lights flickering. You guys, do you know how upset I'm gonna be if a poltergeist is in my house and it was just setting things on fire? Like, come on, sir. Like,
you need to pay some rent.
Right. You better leave some money. They are not typically visible, and they feed off your emotions, and they can travel. Wait, before you say something about them traveling.
You mean like travel?
They're known to follow the energies or a person. So like they'll follow you, basically, is what I'm saying. Like they travel, but because they'll travel with you.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Not like they'd be like, all right, I'm going to Mexico. All right, we're going to Italy. Not like that.
I don't know why. This reminds me of this one show I started watching called Ghost. And it's like this girl inherits this like mansion and she has a near-death experience. And then now she can see ghosts everywhere. And like you can see all the different ghosts there and they have ghost powers. It's like, it's really weird.
Like different ghosts from different time periods?
Yeah. Oh. Like there's a Viking, there's a Native American ghost, there's a black jazz singer from the 1920s.
Like, I don't know how I feel about that, because, like, they're, like, okay, cool, you're here while I'm sitting here watching TV, but when I'm in the shower, like, I definitely don't want you in there.
Ever since I watched that show, I'm like, what if there's, like, one right next to me just watching me?
I know, now that I think about it, like, do ghosts watch you, like, shower?
They do! They be watching them.
Do they be watching people have sex?
Probably. It's a comedy, so it's not gonna show that.
Right.
But
That's
yeah.
Cool. Now I'm thinking about that. Poltergeists are usually drawn to emotionally stressed teenagers. So
what?
they're drawn by emotions, but most they usually are drawn by emotional
teenagers.
Yeah, like,
well, that explains why he's at Hogwarts.
Right, huh? I'm trying to think of the movie Poltergeist.
They were just in a random house.
Yeah, well, they also were built over a Native American burial
ground.
That's
all of America.
So, right, no, for real. Some scientists believe environmental factors like seismic activity or electromagnetic fields, dang, I spelled fields wrong too. Sorry, side note, might create sounds or movements that people think are supernatural forces. You know, I'm always gonna throw some science in here. So they don't believe that, obviously, that they're ghosts. They believe that, like, seismic activity and electromagnetic fields, which I get the seismic activity, like, maybe your furniture moving by that, even though I still feel like that's not a good excuse, but whatever. But I don't really know what the electromagnetic fields got to do with this.
Electromagnetic field.
So, these are the steps to tell if you have a poltergeist.
This is Poltergeist 101.
Welcome to Poltergeist 101 with Brenda and Charmy. So your first sign is unexplained noises. This can include knocking, banging, footsteps, and other sounds that cannot be attributed to any physical source. The second is moving objects. Items might move on their own, be thrown across the room, or disappear and reappear in different places. Yo, if I'm sitting in my room and, like, some keys fly across the table or across the room and hit me in the head, I'm gonna be real mad.
What are you gonna do about it?
I'm about to exercise this house. What do you mean?
I guess that's what you can do.
Electrical disturbances, lights flickering, appliances turning on and off, and other unexplainable electrical issues. And physical sensation. Some people report feeling pushed, touched, or slapped by an unseen force.
Slapped.
Oh, you got me messed up if you think you slapping me.
I don't know why. I'm just thinking about Scary Movie 2 and her sleeping with that ghost.
Oh my god, I know.
That was so weird.
The one part that was so wild was her underwear. When he looked at the calendar to see what day it was, and then her underwear did not match.
But honestly, she could have just threw on any underwear.
So, if you want to communicate with the poltergeist for some strange reason, here's how you do it. You need to establish a calm environment.
What?
Yes, so the environment, you need to do it at a quiet time with no interruptions. You need to lower the lights and approach the situation with a calm and open mind. Ask direct questions that respond with yes or no. For example, are you here? Can you move this object? Once you get an answer, then you can ask, why are you here? Or do you need help? Or get out of my house. Just kidding. That's not a question. So these are the tools that you would need if you want to, well, you don't need them, but if these would really help you to contact a poltergeist.
Poltergeese.
If you want to, for whatever reason. Well, I guess if you need to, if you want to get them out of your house. You would need a pendulum. So you hold the pendulum and ask yes or no questions. Observe the pendulum's movements for responses. You need flashlights. Use a flashlight with a twist switch. I'm not really sure why, but that's what it says. Ask the poltergeist to turn the light on and off in response to questions. And knocking. I don't know what you would need for that except for a table, but it's on the list of things that you need. So ask the poltergeist to respond by knocking or making noise. For example, ask for 1 knock for yes and 2 knocks for no. And here are the...
But what questioning this poltergeist gonna do?
No, you're asking it a question.
I know, but what is it like? Like, ask him all these questions and he just gonna leave? Like, he's still here.
If you stay, do you want to pay rent?
If he says no, what we gonna do?
Exercise. Okay, so here's some of the commonly asked questions. How long do poltergeist activities last? So the duration of poltergeist activity can vary widely. Why does it say that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, it could vary. Okay, I don't know why they worded it like this. Some cases last for only a few days or weeks, while others can persist for months or even years. The activity often starts suddenly and can stop just as abruptly, with no clear pattern or warning. Are poltergeists linked to specific locations? Poltergeists are often associated with specific locations such as homes or buildings, but they can also be linked to individuals. In many cases, the activity seems to follow a particular person, suggesting a possible connection to their emotions or psychological state. And another question, this is going to be the last question. Can animals sense poltergeist? There are many anecdotal reports of animals reacting to poltergeist activity. Pets, especially dogs and cats, are sometimes observed to be agitated, bark, hiss, or stare at seemingly empty spaces during poltergeist disturbances.
Poltergeese!
This behavior suggests that animals might be more sensitive to these phenomena more than humans. And so, throughout history, there have been tons of documented cases of poltergeist, but here are the top 3. Number 1, the Enfield Poltergeist. In London between 1977 and 1979, the council house in Enfield, London was the site of a crazy intense poltergeist activity. Peggy Hodgson, and a single mother and 2 of her 4 children, Janet 11 and Margaret 13, witnessed furniture moving and heard knocking sounds on the wall. They also heard disembodied voices, whistling, loud noises, saw toys thrown, overturned chairs, and children levitating.
Wait, children? They were children?
They were the children that were levitating.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, like, there's a child outside my window, mommy.
Levitated into the house, mother. Janet was also heard talking like an old man with a raspy voice. Over the next 18 months, more people like neighbors, police, journalists, and paranormal investigators also began to see the same strange occurrences, like heavy furniture moving, objects thrown, and the sisters levitating. Even Ed and Lorraine Warren were called, and this inspired The Conjuring 2.
I'm about to say, it sounds like The Conjuring.
This is the case of that The Conjuring 2 covered. Eventually, the strange events just stopped.
No, it stopped because in the movie, I forgot what happened in the movie, but the movie explained it. I can't take that movie seriously.
So yeah, that's the first incident. The second is the Bell Witch. In the late 1804 or early 1805, John Bell, his wife, and family of 6 kids, settled near the Red River in Tennessee, where they were harassed by a mysterious spirit known as the Bell Witch. In the legend, the witch had the ability to shapeshift and be in multiple places at once. John Bell claimed he saw a dog-like creature, which he shot at, but the creature instantly vanished. Soon, strange things began to happen on the family farm. The family began to hear loud knocking, gnawing noises, and the sound of chains dragging across the floor. And then the occurrences became physical. The family began to get pinched, hit, and their hair was pulled. John and his daughter Betsy experienced the worst of the haunting. The witch began speaking to the family, often threatening and insulting them.
Oh my God.
She's probably like, your cooking sucks, or something like that. Even the slaves on the farm began to experience the strange things. Yeah, okay, so this is 1908, so they're slaves. Okay,
let's say.
1908, 1805. One slave named Dean, which, I'm sorry, but, that's not, I don't think that's a slave name. I don't know why. Claimed to see the witch in the form of a dog-like creature, sometimes with 2 heads. After 3 years of non-stop attacks, John became physically ill and was bedridden. He eventually died in December 1820. His health never got better after being ill in 1808. After John's death, the hauntings lessened until they eventually stopped. They were haunted for about 17 years.
It's because he had slaves.
It was said that the witch even crashed his funeral and sang drinking songs. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, it's because he was an evil slave owner.
Can you imagine your mourning and then the witch is like, yo, I'm about to sing some drinking songs. She disrespectful. I'm sorry, I just can't stop laughing at the fact that this witch crashed the funeral. She's so bold. She drove this man. She literally made this man unhealthy until the point where he got ill and died. And she gonna come to the funeral
and dance on his grave
and basically sing some drinking songs. Girl, you did what you could. Can you be respectful?
No.
And last but not least, the Rosenheim Poltergeist case. In the fall of 1967, The Sigmund Adams Law Office in the Bavarian town of Rosenheim began receiving strange phone calls. Whenever someone answered the phone, there was no response on the other line, and often all 3 phones would ring at the same time. Ceiling lights would go out, fuses blew out with no cause, developing fluid would spill out of the copy machine several times, calls would cut out, and sharp banging noises were heard. The phenomenon seemed to be associated with 19-year-old Anna S. She seemed to be the focal point, which was interesting because the poltergeists are said to be drawn to teens. So she was 19, and this poltergeist is like, "Girl, you fine? I'm about to just haunt you." Okay, well, not just haunt her, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Whenever she would walk down the hall, the light fixture would swing behind her, and light bulbs would explode, even though they were off. Y'all, I'm pretty sure it's not fair because, like, I'm sure she didn't, like, summon anything or play with a Ouija board. But, like, everybody in the office was like, "Dang, Anna here." Like, she about to cause so much, like, chaos. Investigators even caught the occurrences on a video recorder. The farther away she was, the less the strange occurrences would happen. They noticed no activities on her off days.
That's... Well, just fire her.
In the winter of 1967, the haunting continued to grow. The items would move, drawers would open, even heavy pieces of furniture would move without damaging the linoleum. Why can't I say this word?
Why did they even give you this word?
Without damaging the floors, okay, you guys? I can't say this word. Eventually, Anna quit, and the strange phenomenon ended.
Yay.
She
Bye.
She should have got fired so she can collect unemployment.
I know, right?
So yeah, now we're gonna talk about a story I found about a poltergeist on Reddit because you know your girl is the Reddit queen. Okay, so we have some creepy poltergeist. This is from the paranormal thread and it's by Charages.
What? Charages.
It says poltergeist, unusual happenings, and a true story. When I was in my teens, still living with my parents, we had some crazy poltergeist type activity. It started with little things such as items moved or gone missing. I remember we had just eaten dinner and a glass on the counter slid all the way across the counter on its own. We dismissed it as having had water underneath it that it slid on, but we each knew there was no water on that counter. You know, I tell myself that sometimes too when I see a shadow. I be like, la 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 la. Like,
ignore it.
You're right. We laughed about our poltergeist as the chain from the hallway light randomly would start swinging like crazy with no influence from the wind. The same light would occasionally turn on by itself, which the 3 of us would always come up with a reason or excuse why it happened. This went on for a little over a month, and things gradually got stranger and more noticeable. I had grown up in this house and had never had any reason to feel uncomfortable in it. During this time, though, I would get the feeling of being watched. There was a sense of discomfort, insecurity, even fear that started to become the norm. I had a 2nd floor window and no access to it from outside. There was no tree nearby. There was only a narrow walkway between the houses that was outside, and it was a floor down too. No one could get to that window without a ladder. My bed was next to the window, and one night, I swear to God, this is the truth, the sound of nails or claws scratching against the glass and randomly tapping on it started happening. That was 10 to 15 minutes of just terror for me. I didn't want to move, and I sure did not want to look to see what or who was there. I had got the feeling that seeing whoever or whatever was scratching the window would end up very bad for me. A gut feeling, if you will, to avoid whatever or whoever that was at any cost. It was very terrifying to me. This went on for another month or so, and it all came to an end one very terrifying night. I had been out for the evening and came home around 11 p.m. You know, when
you didn't get an exercise?
No,
it happened for an entire month.
They was ignoring it. La la la. I think at the point of the glass just shattered like that Spider-Man scene with his aunt praying. Then maybe they would be like, all right, it's time to exercise the house. Both parents were in their separate bedrooms. You know, I've been seeing that TikTok on trend where couples have 2 different, like they have their own bedroom. And if I had my own bedroom, I would be in my bedroom during the day, but I would sleep in my boyfriend's bedroom at night. My mom was in her room down the hall from my own upstairs, and she was reading. Our little dog Georgie was laying on the bed with my mom, per her usual. My dad was sound asleep in his room on the main floor. I stopped in my mom's room to say goodnight, and then I went to get ready for bed. I was home for about 10 minutes when furious, very loud pounding started on the front door. It was as if whomever was there on the other side of the door was desperate to get in. It could only be described as desperate, violent, loud demand from entry into our house. You could feel the vibration from the door being hit even upstairs. Our little dog Georgie was, as her per usual, laying in my mother's bed curled up for the night. The furious pounding on the front door at this late hour was so unexpected and unusual, and I confessed I was afraid to go and answer the door. It didn't escape me that our dog was not getting up either, and she was not barking at all at the late night intrusion. I got up and went to my mother's room. She was already awakened by the non-stop violent pounding at the door. Georgie, our dog, was laying on my mom's bed, looking terrified, and certainly was not offering to go to the front door to protect the household in any way. Girl, I don't blame her. I would have been like, this is human problems. She appeared very afraid and seemed to be hunkering down as far as possible into the side of my mother's leg. My mom and I both agreed whoever was there, it was not a good feel, and neither of us wanted to answer the door. I went downstairs to my father's room. Girl, I would be calling my father I would like literally call his phone.
On the phone.
And if he didn't answer his phone, I would ping his phone. Like, sir, you need to go answer the door. FaceTime. Right, you need to answer the door. I went downstairs to my father's room, all the while hearing that unrelenting pounding on the door. The front door was just on the other side of the wall from his bedroom, and yet he hadn't heard any of the furious pounding, nor did it wake him up. I couldn't believe that because that pounding was so violent and loud, and even the dog was afraid. I woke him up, and as I did, the pounding started to lessen in its strength and intensity. It sounded like the person pounding on the door was becoming exhausted, and the pounding became very labored knocks. I got my dad up and made him listen for himself that someone was at our front door at this late hour, and told him that we, my mother, myself, and the dog, had unanimously elected him to answer it. The dog elected him to answer it.
What?
The dog was like, you answer it.
I put my vote in and you elected it.
Right. He had heard it now too, and wasn't very happy that some fool was pounding on his door at this hour. That person better be hurt or in trouble, he said begrudgingly. He got up and started cautiously walking to the front door. The pounding started to become very slow and weak knocks. It felt like forever to get to that door, and I was absolutely terrified standing behind my 6'2" father to feel some sense of safety, but had to have his back too if he needed it.
Girl, what you gonna do?
Girl, look, don't touch my father. I may not be able to do stuff, but guess what can do? Objects in my house can, so don't play. My father reached for the door and yanked it open quickly just as we had heard one last weak, exhausted knock. There was no one there. He and I looked around, went outside, down the front steps, and then to the side of the house, into the backyard, and found no one. My mom and our dog had made their way downstairs as well. My father and I split up and each went on the opposite side of the house, leading us to our empty, dark backyard. We came back to the front and looked for any cars we didn't recognize. Both walked a short distance down the front sidewalk to look in between the neighboring houses, and we found no one. When my dad and I walked back into the house, we had told my anxious mother that there hadn't been anyone at the door, no one we could see across the street, down the street, at the side of the house, nor at the back of the house. There was no one. We were all pretty stressed out by all of this. Georgie was still being held by my mother and shaking from the experience. It was hours before any of us went back to bed. The poltergeist type activity stopped after that. It was as if the person/thing at the door was testing us that night, and the actual answering of the door must have let it out of the house. I think it got fed up with our attempts to ignore it, even laugh at it, over the past few months and just left us. I remember all of the weird things that happened in those few months quite vividly still. I get scared when I think about the scratching on my second floor window, and when I think of the frantic, violent pounding at the door that slowly weakened and stopped the second the door was open. This is a true story, and it was 40 some years later now, and it still scares me. So someone made a comment, and it's by Hunting the Haunted.
Hunting the Haunted?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Hunting the Hunting.
Yeah.
What the hell?
It says poltergeist is energy. It will exhaust and cannot hold high levels of chaos for long. It will deplete and then fade.
It was doing it for a whole month.
Yeah, but I kind of see how, like, that makes sense. Like, in all the stories we read, it just suddenly, like, it didn't, some of them it suddenly stopped. Some of it, like, got lesser and lesser, and it just
That didn't happen to Harry Potter. He's still there, strong and mighty.
Well, there's a ton of teenage energy there, so he might be there for quite some time. Wonder what he does in the summer.
I know, right? Like, should he dissipate in the summer?
Mm-hmm. I guess he thrives off teenage ghosts as well.
But also, that dog did nothing.
No, he didn't. I don't blame him.
What kind of dog is this? Ain't no German Shepherd.
I know. I actually didn't say what kind of dog it was. I'm assuming it's a little dog. If it was like
a little poodle, a little chihuahua,
or something. Well, I don't know if it's chihuahua because they definitely be barking. So
yeah, they're like all bark but no bite. They be talking so much crap, but they don't do nothing.
Okay, well, he ain't a chihuahua then because he didn't talk no crap and did nothing as well. So. And this one's from Melatonin1212.
I need some melatonin.
And it's from the Ghost Reddit thread. I was in a swampy area with dense foliage, smoking weed with my friends in high school. Well, that's already a red flag.
Yeah, why are you in the swamp doing this?
Right. This could be a long story, but I'll try to make it short. We heard this loud, gargling screeching a ways away. One of the first things I noted was that it was androgynous sounding.
What's androgynous sounding?
It had no sex. It just sounded... Never was able to tell if it was female or male, but it was very high-pitched, loud, and gargling is the best way I can describe it. Well, it started getting closer and closer, and we heard the fridge rustling nearer and nearer. We looked out, but couldn't see nothing. We were all terrified. Finally, it was sounding like it was almost right next to us, and we could hear leaves crunching nearby and foliage moving, but could still see no sign of anyone or anything. One of the four of us sprinted into the other direction, and the rest followed. That was about it. Oh yeah, and there was a local legend about monsters that live in that area. I knew about the legend, but also heard an episode of a podcast years later that talked about this area. Tripped me out when people were in the podcast mentioned where they were. You guys, you shouldn't have been in the
forest.
Swamp. The swamp, yeah.
The forest. I mean, the swamp. It's in Louisiana.
The thing was like, yo, what y'all smoking? Is that indica? Is that sativa? Is that hybrid? He just wanted to be high with y'all.
He just wanted a friend.
A living friend. This one also comes from the paranormal thread, and it's by Jack Anderson, and it said,
yeah, that'd be something like Jack and Jill. Or Jack Attack. I don't know.
I had an encounter with a poltergeist. I have had many encounters throughout my life, but on September 11, 2023, I had my worst experience yet. I woke up around 2:30 to see a shadow on my wall that looked like a person when a book comes flying at me, hitting me in the face, then I passed out. Bro, what in the world? This ghost just was like, this poltergeist is like, I just choose violence and just threw the book. Like, he didn't even give you a second to he didn't give you a second for anything. You just wake up and get clocked with the book and then you pass out.
That's so funny.
I'm gonna be so mad, especially if I have a lump on my head. Like, sir.
I was just minding my own business.
Right. Bro, it says I woke up the next morning with a black eye, bro.
No one found him?
I guess not. Maybe he thought he was asleep. Bro, this poltergeist is so messed up. He literally threw a book at him. A bruised chest and face and a lightly bleeding mouth along with the book next to me with some blood on it. I wanted to post this event in my life, and thus this isn't the full story. What in the world? This poltergeist is so messed up.
This is the one you need to exercise.
Bro, he literally threw the book with so much force that this guy passed out.
It reminds me of the Charmed episode when that ghost was killing people in the library.
Oh yeah, that was kind of messed up.
But he was worse than Poltergeese.
Yeah, he was. He was beheading people and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry that this happened to you. This happened 4 months ago too. Well, it says September 11, 2023. But dude, that's messed up. This poltergeist sucks. And the fact that you have a black eye now, how do you explain that? Like, I woke up and
by a book.
A book was thrown at my face by a poltergeist.
Poltergeese.
Well, hopefully, he never came back. Like, he was just a one-time poltergeist. A hit it and throw. I don't know. Hit it and
quit it?
Like, yeah,
what?
he hit you and then he quit. Like, he just left. Okay, guys, so this was part 1 of our Poltergeist series. Next time we will have part 2. We're gonna talk about the movie Poltergeist, just the first one. We're not even talking about the remake because I saw the remake and it was like, maybe we will talk about it. We'll see. And then we're gonna talk about the crazy things that happened on the set of Poltergeist, but the original one, not the new one, because we don't care really much for that one.
I don't think anything weird happened in the new one anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because even the Poltergeist in the new one were like, y'all suck. Well, you've made it to the end.
You must really like the sounds of our high-pitched voices and quirky commentary.
You might as well like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell to be notified every time we drop new content. If you want to follow our social medias, they will be linked in the description box below.
Bye!
Bye, you guys. Be careful of Portuguese.
Portuguese!
Quack, quack.